You had the South African revolt.
Dude.
I think earlier.
Can I put you on pause for a second?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm going to put you on pause for 1 second. I just got an important message.
What?
We're going to be on conference call with maybe Prager. How much time do we got?
Hello?
Hello? Is this Ron Reagan?
Yeah, we're on in a minute. We're on in about a minute.
On the Salem Radio Network. Returns from break in 1 minute and 15 seconds.
This is a great birthday gift. Thank you, Reagan.
You want me to just go right into it?
I told him that my son is in college and he's attended college anti-Israel protests. It's really upsetting.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. And my name is Ron.
Ron.
I'll just let you be Ron.
Okay.
You want me to do it like last time?
Yeah. Let's do it this way.
The Dennis Prager Show.
I'm just going to mute my
on
microphone.
The Salem Radio Network. Returns from break in 45 seconds.
Happy birthday, you big idiot.
Oh, thank you. It's a good birthday present.
What has happened to the Democrats?
Jews, my fellow Jews, many of whom are wonderful people. 1-8-PRAGER 776-877-243-7776. Albany, Oregon. Ron, hello.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks so much for taking my call. I think I told your screener that my kid is in college and there are protests going on there, and needless to say, Thanksgiving was a little bit rough.
Go on.
Well, my child, I don't want to say the college that they go to because I don't want them to be chased down or anything. But my concern is that my son doesn't appreciate what's going on in Israel at all, and doesn't understand what the dynamics are there. And it is increasingly a problem is what's going on these campuses.
That's right.
Anti-Semitism is a problem in this country. It is rising. I'm not sure if I subscribe totally to the idea that it's a function of secularism because, obviously the Spanish Inquisition, we had a lot of anti-Semitism that existed before any type of secular movement.
In the United States it is. I make it clear in the column. You're right. American Christianity was totally different from European Christianity.
But I mean,
this was a Judeo-Christianity. It was pro-Jewish. That's why I read to you John Adams, who was a committed Christian.
Well, that's true.
That Jefferson and Jefferson. Go on.
Well, I can tell you that. When my parents and my grandparents came over in the 1800s, they had to change their name. They couldn't get insurance. This was not a function, and they were very pious.
Oh, so you're Jewish? Okay, that's interesting. So the fact is, however, that you're right, compared to a truly perfect society, it was a failure. Compared to every other society, why did they flee their society and come to America? If you would have asked your grandparents, are you happy you came to America, even though it was harder to get insurance? They probably would have laughed at you.
Oh, well, no, of course. They left because of pogroms, but they weren't secular in Russia at that time, or Lithuania.
No,
or
you're
Vilnius
right. I've said all of my life to American Jews, my fellow Jews, that the European Christianity was not the same as American Christianity. These are the Christians that put Torah script on the Liberty Bell.
Right.
That had you study Hebrew, that said the greatest contributions were made by Jews, like I read to you from John Adams. This was a different country. This was a different form of Christianity.
Well, I agree. You have someone like John Hagee speaking at the rally for Israel. I think was frankly an abomination. I wasn't for John Hagee speaking there. He has a record.
I was.
Well, even John McCain.
I thought it was a great choice. I know him very well. Back in a moment.
Okay.
Folks, a lot of you have problems falling asleep or staying asleep. My heart goes out to you. It's not a problem I've ever had. So there are two issues with my caller. This is a really important call. You called because I have a lot of thoughts on what you're saying. So this is Ron in Oregon, and there are two issues. One is that his son, this is a Jewish family, and his son has been participating in anti-Israel protests at his college. And the other is that he doesn't fully agree with me because, look at all the anti-Semitism in Europe, which was done by Christians, and he's absolutely right. But as I've said all of my life, American Christianity was not European Christianity, and the best place Jews have ever lived outside of their own land has been the United States of America. So your last comment was that you were distressed that at the rally in Washington for Israel, they had Pastor Hagee speak, correct?
Yes, that's right. I mean, I never totally agreed with John McCain about all things, but when he distanced himself in 2008 from Hagee, I thought that was the right thing to do.
And the reason?
Well, I don't think the idea that, and this is what Hagee believes, obviously not what I believe, or I would imagine not what you believe, is that Hitler was sent by God to push Jews to Israel. And I mean, I understand the Christian prophecy that we as Jews are a part of that, but not necessarily in the best way. But I guess my biggest concern is we just had the greatest attack on Jews since the Holocaust take place. And I look at Israel as a place that was founded, at least in part, to protect Jews. And I think that after 75 years, what we're looking at is a situation where that project has failed. And I think in part it's failed because of the way that Israel has gone about it.
Okay, so you've now entered a third arena. They're all related.
Exactly.
Let me just say this about John Hagee. First of all, I never, ever judge people on the basis of their beliefs. I'm sure you're annoyed when Christians think you're going to hell because you don't believe in Christ. So why are you annoyed with John Hagee for his religious beliefs? If indeed that's what he said, I have reviewed it. It's not fully clear to me, but let's say he said that. God sent Hitler. My father, who was an Orthodox Jew and fought Hitler in the U.S. Navy for 3 years, believed that God sent Hitler because he couldn't believe that the Holocaust just happened and God watched it. There are a lot of Jews.
Yes, but that is
okay. So fine. So what exactly? How remarkably different was my father's view? I don't agree with my father, but it doesn't matter. As I said, I judge beliefs, but I don't judge people by their beliefs. So John Hagee has been one of the most pro-Jewish, pro-Israel figures in American life. He has founded the largest organization of Christians. It is the CUFI, Christians United for Israel.
I know that. But Dennis,
okay.
that actually relates to my other point.
Good?
Because I do think that intent. I do think intent is important here. So it is true that that Israel has a lot of support from CUFI and other Christian Zionists, but they want the Jews there so that they go through hellfire. And I also know that the Netanyahu.
That's not true.
The Netanyahu.
That isn't true. I know
that is exactly the prophecy that
true.
Hagee is talking about. And,
no.
And
okay.
I will also say this with Netanyahu.
Okay.
With Netanyahu. Also making common cause with
yes, because he's making common cause because the greatest support in America for his country is coming from Christian Zionists.
Well, but I think that's problematic in the end.
Common cause with them?
Well, I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to explain because I think what it breeds is a type of singular nationalism in Israel, which has left Jews unsafe. The road that could have been taken with Zionists.
Okay. So you
we know that
believe
there was
that
a strand of
Israel
Zionist
is
thought.
At fault. Okay, so
no, not
understand.
Israel. I'm saying certain elements within Israel, because we know there was Zionist thought starting in the late 1800s into the early 1900s, where the idea of a multi-ethnic, multi-religious democracy could have taken hold. Folks like Buber and Hannah Arendt espouses.
Well,
instead,
let me just
we
say
have
this.
a fascist.
Don't be shocked that your child has taken your ideas to their conclusion.
Oh, Dennis. It's weird that you had to cut me off.
The Dennis Prager Show.
I'm just going to hang out to the music for a while, if you don't mind.
Return from break in 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh.
I don't know. I think he might be done with you.
Yeah.
I get the sense he was. He definitely cut me off.
Should we hang on the line to see if he comes back to you?
I don't know.
That's up to you. I'm just working.
Because you're not having real conversations.
The Dennis Prager Show on the Salem Radio Network returns from break in 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Well,
You got more runway than you thought you might.
I
right?
definitely did. Yeah, I really greased that runway, though, didn't I?
You did such a good job with like
Ronald Reagan, I really appreciate the birthday gift.
being obtuse about the what your son.
Oh, we're going to stay
Did
in
it
the...
kill you guys to get some hold music like this?
Is it bagpipes?
That's what it means to be a mighty man of
What do you
valor.
got to do to
Prager
make
Show
that happen?
on the Salem Radio Network returns from break in 1 minute and 45 seconds.
All right, well, we're going to hang on for the 1 minute, 45 seconds.
I know it. I endorse it. I use it. The Living Martyr uses it. My wife uses it. In fact, my wife used it before I ever heard of it. Okay, so just a final word here. I rarely keep somebody on so long, but I thought that
Valuable. So I just want to say, and this is, God knows, I thank you for your call and your openness.
Thank you.
But with your views with regard to Israel, it's not shocking that your son would have participated in anti-Israel demonstrations at college.
Well,
I know you wouldn't, and I fully appreciate that, but he didn't come from a home that made peace with Israel as a national Jewish project.
Well, I think that's not. I don't think that's true. Actually, I mean, certainly much of my Hebrew school, and I at that point was more conservative than Orthodox. But much of my Hebrew schooling was oriented towards Israel. Many of my teachers were
but
were
that's
former
irrelevant. It's
Holocaust.
your views.
Well,
look, you said.
But all I'm saying is I'm looking at this as a practical
flawed.
matter, though, Dennis, because as a practical matter, if the part of the Zionist project was to provide a safe home for Jews, I mean, and surely you know this as well, we have Israelis now who are in bomb shelters 4 times a day, and it has not worked. The peace and security for Jews as a single ethno-national state has not worked.
So therefore, you believe Jews would be more secure if there weren't a Jewish state and it was just a Jewish and Muslim state,
and Christian. I mean, I think
Christian. But there are so few Christians there. Okay,
well, yes,
academic.
yes, of course, it's academic.
You believe Jews would be more secure with majority Arab rule.
I think absolutely a multi-ethnic society could be set up. I mean, listen, this is the same thing that people said about South Africa.
Look, I got to leave it at that because we've talked so long.
Okay. Well, Dennis, I really appreciate you having this conversation with me.
The listener decide.
Thank you.
But I think you need to be honest with yourself. If you believe that
I am being honest with myself,
project
Dennis,
is a failure, it is not that surprising that your son would have demonstrated against Israel on his campus.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't characterize the demonstration
St. Petersburg,
against
Florida. Corey, hello.
All right.
Yes, hello, Dennis. Since October 7th,
I've been to 4 or 5 Catholic churches for Sunday Mass,
All right, hold on.
and not one time has the priest mentioned in his homily.
I guess. He left. All right.
Raygun hung up.
We got the held over 2 commercial breaks.
I mean,
I thought he was taking commercials.
I got news for you, folks. That doesn't
Yeah.
happen. You got to really know. Like I did too.
I can't believe you got on that long. And you've spoken to him before, right? Like he supposedly knows your voice.
Well, I mean, I don't.
You got on for like
He's
a
old
second
man.
the one time, and he
hung up immediately.
Yeah. It's pretty